Uh, Formerly of CA Cycleworks. Let's put you in the stand here. I haven't updated in, I don't know what, 2 years maybe? So I think it was July of 2023 we moved out of the shop in Conyers. And the rent just kept going up. And I found someone who wanted the oven, the rotational molding machine. So we got it to them. That was a lot of fun. We packed that out. And I used my truck, Billie Jean, to help accomplish that. And I feel like it's a different world now. 2 years later, it's, well, 2+ years. It's November of 2025. In 2024, I discovered I was PTSD. It is related and service connected to my time in the U.S. Navy. However, it's not from combat. It's the other kind of trauma people might experience. And learning I was PTSD in that process, I'm still now, a year and a half later, trying to learn myself, what I want in life, who I am. I've been to Psych Ward 3 times. I tried to go I tried to go somewhere in the middle a fourth time, but they said you've got a bunch of appointments. Maybe if you can hang tonight, you've got all these appointments lined up. So I didn't check in that night. That was in February of 25. I'm divorced. I wasn't married to Anne, but I'm familiar with Anne, you could say. She's running the business, and she was really good to me. So I basically got a year of severance. But I got so crazy and depressed and bad. Like, I can't work. I can't. So, it's tough. A big chunk of me struggles wanting to be alive. And I remember, I don't know, just so many people really do want me to be here, and I struggle with being here. So there was a Wednesday in August of 24 that was going to be the last Wednesday of my life. And I went to the Atlanta VA ER, and my blood pressure was like 160 over who knows what. I was going to use my gun that night, but I didn't. I guess I'm glad I didn't, honestly. My life is much less stressful now. My last paycheck was after I went inpatient in May. And then I had an attempt in June. And then I was laid off from Cycleworks, the business I created. Well, I didn't create it, but I created the online part of it. CA Cycleworks was originally California Cycleworks, and it went through a few DBAs, then an LLC, and then I incorporated it. It was a little service shop in La Mesa, California, just outside of San Diego. And at some point, I was on the forums, and I was talking about cool stuff I did to my Ducati motorcycle, and I was like, hey, yeah, this is cool. And the people were like, well, where can I get that? And I'm like, oh, well, go to your local shop, open up this catalog, and they can order it and install it for you, and it's cool, and it's awesome. They're like, yeah, but I want to buy it from you. Can't you just take my credit card and UPS it to me? I could not find an excuse not to, so I did. And ca-cycleworks.com was born. That was 1998. At the time, I did not realize I was PTSD. I did not realize I was masking. But I knew my truth, and I had a very strong moral code, and people loved me for that. I always would treat people right. Even if I couldn't give them what they wanted, I explained why, apologized, and did the best I could to help them through any situation. So people knew to call me about random stuff that I couldn't make money off of, or whatever. I don't care. One customer, I guess we'd gotten into it on a forum, and he called. And he said, hey, I've got this problem. And I guess he said his name. I didn't catch it. I suck at names. Like, I'm ADHD, PTSD, I didn't know it. And he was like, wow, I really appreciate you helping me. I'm like, why wouldn't I? And he's like, well, we kind of got into it in the forums. It's like, I don't care. If you call me for help, I'm going to help you, period. That's how I've always been. I've always been true. I've always had honor and respect for others. When I grow old, I want people to remember me for being a great human. And so, finding out I was PTSD and then going through my past with my therapist to unlock why, and then I began the process of learning how much of life I missed, how much I screwed up, the marriages I wrecked, the careers I should have had. Like, Cycleworks didn't become a huge thing with published books and a big brand because I was making decisions based on being in survival mode. I didn't know I was in the survival mode. I didn't know what PTSD meant to a human having it. So I made a lot of decisions based on the near term, not the long term. And they were not the right decisions for the long term. So the business never really did become great. But people say it's great because I treated them well and I treated them with respect. Someone asked when I started changing my appearance 5 years ago. I was a boy before. I never was a boy in my head, my spirit. With some ways my body functions. I never was a boy. And what started my growth and started my healing was transitioning, finding my truths. So yeah, I finally went to the VA for help. Yeah, I'm a veteran. I never really thought, I was just like, yeah, whatever. I joined the service like it was a job. I was assaulted when I was 19, and then I buried it. I'd forgotten a lot of the actual trauma and its events, as people do, to protect their brains. And I did not realize the depths of the ways I was broken. And leaving, I'm not mad that happened to me in the Navy. I'm mad that the Navy let me leave and I was PTSD. That's the part that makes me mad. I think everyone leaving the military should have like some kind of independent screening for PTSD that's ideal, not this crap we go through when we leave the military. When they leave the military, they're like, don't tell them anything wrong because then it'll delay your leaving the military, right? Well, that's a bunch of crap. Yes, it will delay your leaving the military because then they have to fix you. So I was a good sailor. Suck it up, buttercup. Put on your big girl panties. Pull yourself up by the bootlaces. Notice half of those are very gendered terms. Don't be a girl. Don't be a wuss. Oh, you're going to fly away. I saved you. Let me make sure I cover the logo of my energy drink. So, I don't work for Cycleworks anymore. As I started going crazy, I was unable to sleep. I was unable to get up. My depression and anxiety were so bad. I mean, I don't want to live. I still don't really want to live. But August of 24, I said, I am going to let the VA try to help me, and I'm going to put in a good faith effort. So my immediate goal with the VA is I'd like to go a week without thinking about doing actions that are self-harmful with the point of risking my life. The Atlanta VA, while it initially was great, is overrun with veterans, and at some point by coincidence, I started dating a trans woman that's up in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And then independently of people knowing I'm seeing this girl from Tennessee, I start hearing about how good Murfreesboro, Tennessee VA is in their mental health department. And sure enough, they really are. Every time I've been to the VA up here, it's been an experience of this is how things should be. This is the ideal treatment I should be getting. And I was surprised by that. I was set back by that. I was like, holy crap. So Anne is running Cycleworks now. I've moved to Tennessee. It's just outside of Nashville, 40 minutes outside of Nashville. My truck that I love, Billie Jean, I was going to drive her up here to try sell her where she could make some money, and her crankshaft broke in a parking lot in Conyers, Georgia, thank God. Yeah, I laid under that truck staring at the hole in the block and the oil in the ground, and that was a pretty low moment. There's a reason I don't carry knives, and that would have been one of them. So instead of getting like 10 grand out of Billie Jean and selling parts that I had in a 20-foot shipping container and then selling the shipping container. So we're talking like, at least 15 grand I could live off of for a while. I got 2,500 bucks. But I'm lucky because if that had happened on the road, it would have cost me thousands to get it towed and properly disposed of. And so I can't be mad. I got a neighbor coming up. Hey neighbor.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. Doing a little YouTube live. I haven't updated my people in forever.
Nice.
So yeah, that was a hard moment. I haven't lost everything, but pretty close. I don't have most of my tools. The girl I married in 2018 decided she was not a lesbian, and I did too good of a job becoming a woman. So she fired me. And so I had carefully curated my life so that with a dual income household I could live. But I didn't make enough money from the business to get an apartment or a place to stay. And so that Wednesday I talked about, that was going to be the last Wednesday ever, was the ultimatum of get out. And I was just like, I don't care anymore. And so my therapist called Anne, who now runs Cycleworks, and they demanded I stay and that they would take me to the VA to go to the ER, and I did. Oh, they're holding hands, other neighbors. Yeah. So my mill and lathe are gone. I sold them in a 20-foot shipping container for $10,000 so I could live off that. And I did. The money lasted a little while. I mean, I still have to do things to want to live. So I still spend some money on entertainment and bars or playing pool. I mean, something, anything. I got 30% service connection for random body things that happen to me in the military, like my feet and whatever. I could blame sinusitis on them. You know, I joined when I was 17. I joined the military when I was 17. So anything that happened to me as an adult, I could try to poke at them, you know? And then for the PTSD, they awarded me 50% saying that I wasn't suicidal. You know, anyone who knows me knows I have a wide streak of sarcasm and irony. And the night before, I'd had a dream about where I would use a knife and how, full color dream. My dreams are so crazy. They're a lived experience. It's like I was living in that other reality. And I remember that dream. And so Wednesday morning, June 25th, I woke up. There's no money in the checkbook. And I was like, dang, let me check my VA app to see where my claim is. And so VA math, 50% plus 30% equals 60%. So it said 60%. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Okay. I didn't get 100% off the PTSD that I was, kind of counting on because I really am crazy and can't work. And I read through it and it says, well, we decided on 50 because you're not suicidal. You don't deserve more. I guess they didn't notice I'd already been to psych ward twice and tried to go a third time. So, my sarcastic butt is like, the F I'm not. And I did what that dream did. What was creepy is it didn't hurt. And I missed everything important. And that was a pretty big deal. So, I'm living on the 60%. I had another C&P exam, another compensation and pension exam. It went well. I have hopes for getting an increase in my disability. I'm going to kind of need it to survive, but I can sell my car. I'm taking care of it. The free car I had, the silver one, it died. A shop killed it, so they patched it up enough I could take it to the Nissan dealer, have them try to fix it. They couldn't, so I made them sell me one of their used cars for as cheap as possible. And it's a fancy 2021. It's a Sentra, and it has adaptive cruise control. I love the car. But also, you'd never know it had 105,000 miles because I keep it looking brand new. Because I know I might need that equity to live off of. So this is more about how far they can fall. I've got a couple customers, like ones from 20 years. Well, I guess now it'd be 25 or so years. They've given me a few $1,000s to keep living, and I'm humble and thankful for that because it has kept me alive. They don't want me to go, and they're willing to pay money, and that's humbling. I'm working on trying to be here. So how far have they fallen? I mean, this is going to be kind of a gossip piece. I'm going to share it on some forums. I have a lot of people who I've touched in their lives in 20 years selling motorcycle parts and helping give real advice, because your vehicle breaks and you go to the dealer, and the dealer's gonna have to do what the dealer's gonna have to do, and it costs a lot of money. And so the foundation of my business was, if this little piece breaks on your throttle body, they want to sell you a throttle body for $2,300, and then $1,000 to install it or something, and then it's like, well, my bike's worth $4,000. I'm gonna throw it away. No, I'll sell you a little gizmo for $100. They can install it or you can install it, whatever, and you get to keep your bike. You get to keep riding. That was the foundation of my business. It's the foundation of my philosophy of helping customers. They're like, this happened. My engine died. And I'm like, well, if you're like me and not rich, you can go buy a used piece off of eBay and call it a day, and it'll be fine. So I've helped a lot of people with common sense solutions to problems that would be too expensive at a dealer. Make sure it's not an ant. So I'm kind of messed up. I talk a lot about my mental health on TikTok. It's TS Krista Tango Sierra Krista Krista. I go into depth about my crazies, but yeah, I'm unemployable now. And the suck is too that now that I've been through the suck and I've been a veteran, I have this clarity of life. I'm 54 now and I don't have time for stupidity. So when I see someone or a business's future, it's like, I know the truth. Do you want to survive? Do you want the problem fixed? Or do you just want to keep your head in the sand? And a lot of folks can't handle my truth. And that's okay. They're not ready. They're not on my timeline. They're not on my path. So I'm up here, crazy, disabled, and I think that's going to be me. I'm just going to be disabled. If I can get my mind right, I'm going to volunteer probably at the VA, or maybe I will get a job somewhere. I screwed up my wrist, so I don't know if I'll be able to, run a tow truck again. I can't sling chains like I used to. Plus, I'm old. I get tired too easy, so when it's not cold, I plan to walk more. Clears the mind, helps the body. I just want to keep reminding myself to keep playing. Never stop playing. People are like, "How? You're not that old." I'm like, I know. I refuse to act old. I can't help aging, but I ain't going to grow up. I'm never going to grow up. The thing with as you get older and older, your parents don't do it right. They say quit playing. What they need to tell you is, as you grow, keep playing, but then find a way to play so that you don't end up in jail or the psych ward. You have to find ways to play that don't get you in trouble. You can still play with rocks. Now you climb on them. Or something. I don't know, but you can play with dirt. Run a bulldozer. Keep playing. When you get down and it's about work, just figure out how to change it into play. I never really had money. I've lived adjacent to money. But I need enough to survive. And somehow it always works out. So I think it's going to keep working out. There's still a lot of crap about Ducatis, I remember. Folks still ask me questions. I'm okay with that. I'm just trying to be happy. I'm working on it. One step in front of the other. Get my 100% and then start really sorting out life. Hopefully. So that's an update. I've been silent on this channel forever because I haven't had anything fun and technical to contribute. I haven't been having fun much in this life. I mean, some of the fun I can't really talk about on YouTube. I get a little crazy sometimes. Like with my carefully protected energy drink. So anyway, I'll try to check in with y'all. I'll spread this video around a little bit. Some folks care. And I'm making it out of respect for them. No matter what, the spirit of Cycleworks is embodied within me, and I will maintain making sure it's, what I've created will always be out there. Life moves on. I'll see y'all later. I don't know how to stop it. Oh, there's an X. Okay. I'll see y'all later. Love you. Bye.